Good afternoon, everyone. We don't have a quorum at this time. We're going to give it 5 more minutes. And if we don't get a quorum, then we're going to call the meeting canceled.
Education and Arts Commission to order. City Clerk, would you please conduct a roll call vote?
Commissioner Ward? Here. Commissioner Kucharski? Absent. Commissioner Barraza? Absent. Commissioner Singh?
Present.
Commissioner Cummings? Absent. Commissioner Miller?
Present.
Vice Chair Dolan?
Here.
Chair McCoy?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We will now begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please stand? We will start with the approval of the agenda. City Clerk, are there any changes or proposed changes to the agenda?
No, there are no changes to the agenda.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Singh. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. This item is approved. We will now move on to approval of minutes. Are there any changes or proposed changes to the minutes from September 25th, 2023?
There are no changes to the minutes from September 25th, 2023.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Singh. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Ward. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. This item is approved. We will now move on to subcommittee reports. This item is a discussion item for the commission. No public comments will be taken related to this item. Does the Cultural Arts Plan Subcommittee have an update it would like to provide to this commission?
Yes, we have an item that'll be coming up later on the agenda. And also, it's our understanding the revised cultural arts plan is going to be finalized at the end of this week. And we were hoping to ask that a couple hundred copies be available in print so that it's accessible to members of the community who cannot access it electronically, since it'll tie into the grant guidelines.
Thank you. Does the Parks Master Plan Subcommittee have an update it would like to provide to this commission?
The Parks Master Plan Subcommittee met with city staff and consultant and went through Chapter 6, I believe, of the master plan, and we are going to regroup in another 2 weeks for the next steps.
Thank you. We will now move on to member reports and comments. As a reminder, this is a time for commission members to report anything they feel important for the public or commission to know, but is not a time for discussion. Commissioner Singh?
Nothing on my end.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Vice Chair Dolan?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Ward?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Okay, I always butcher your name, Commissioner Kelly. I'm sorry about that, but do you have any reports or comments?
No.
No? Okay. I just want to say that it's good to see on social media all the Halloween activities and other activities that are taking place that are being given on the City Parks Department. It's really good to see that and see that you guys are keeping us informed and using social media as a tool to reach audience. Good job. We will now move on to City Administration and Park staff reports and comments. Does anyone from the administration side have any reports or comments? Thank you. Does anyone from the park staff have any reports or comments?
Thank you, Chair McCoy. Aaron Aguirre, Parks Director. Just wanted to highlight this afternoon in Roding Park, we had a ribbon cutting. We relocated our dog park on the west side of the park over to our east side. It wasn't just a simple relocation. It addressed ADA path of travel. It added some solar lighting. It added some picnic tables, waste receptacles. So make sure we are inclusive with the community. That was one of the projects that was a high priority. And again, just wanted to highlight that was funded by Measure P, fully funded by Measure P, so thank you all for that. And then want to announce an upcoming community meeting next Wednesday, October 24th. This is for, must be the season, but LRADCA, we're doing another dog park. So this will be next Wednesday, October 24th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. there at the park. We welcome community input in the review of design concepts. So we welcome each and every one of you as well as the community. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move on to hearings. ID number 23-1512, hearing actions pertaining to the Parks, After-School, Recreation, and Community Service Department fiscal year 2025 budget build as it pertains to the capital project portfolio. 1, presentation, overview of Parks Department's FY 2024 capital projects portfolio. 2, receive public input on expenditures related to the Parks Department FY 2025 budget. 3, action, make recommendations to the City Council for adoption of expenditures in connection to the Parks Department fiscal year 2025 budget. Would someone from the Parks Department please begin the presentation?
Good evening, Commissioners. Summer Rooks. I am a Capital Projects Administrator with the City of Fresno Parks Department, and I am one of 2 Projects Administrators that will be providing tonight's presentation. And tonight, along with my counterpart, Joseph Portali, we will be providing you an update to the Parks Department fiscal year 2024 capital projects funded by Measure P portfolio. So since the last time we were in front of this commission, it's been about 6 months. We're just really thrilled to provide you an update and to show you how the projects have progressed and how the portfolio has grown. Before I do get started, I do want to take a quick moment to thank all of the amazing people that have helped contribute to the success of these projects. So brief thank you to the Parks Operations and Property Maintenance teams, Capital Projects Department team, the Department of Public Works Facilities and Landscape teams, and most importantly, to all the community partners and advocates within the community who just continue to provide the critical feedback that we need for these projects and to ensure that we're delivering the best projects for the community. So as we dive in, went one too many. As we dive in, I'd like to just provide a brief reminder that the projects that we'll be talking about tonight are all projects that are funded in some part by Measure P. So of the more than 140 capital improvement projects that the Parks Department is currently working on, approximately 85 of them are Measure P funded. And since our last presentation 6 months ago, we initiated approximately 20 more new projects and completed approximately 12 projects. And in just a few moments, Joseph will walk us through those. Before he does, we'll do a quick refresher on how projects happen. So for those of us who joined us last presentation, you may be familiar with these stages, these project stages that we'll be presenting our projects through. But in general, these projects our projects are categorized by these stages, and within these stages there are several processes within each one. And so I'll just do a quick highlight on them. And depending on the project, these timelines can vary widely. They can vary anywhere from 2 to 3 months all the way to 12 to 18 months for new developments. So please view these project on a project basis. So when we talk about projects that are within the planning, estimating, and acquisition phase, these are projects that are truly in that initiation phase. We are in the ideation and scoping, and these projects are currently just really an idea. It may be a statement from the community, an observation that we see through our programming. An example could be, we need field lights at a specific park. And so what do we do with that idea? Well, we develop it into a very detailed scope to then help us best estimate our project costs. And those project costs can include construction. They also include design costs and other soft costs like project management, permitting, environmental costs, those sorts of things. And so by providing or by really detailing out our scopes, we're able to come up with our best guesstimate for these project cost estimations. We also use recent bids that we've acquired from recent construction projects and other completed design projects. And so after we're done estimating, we can identify any funding that's available through any current budget allocations or grant opportunities, or if we need to identify additional budget motions. This process helps us highlight where those budget gaps may be. From there, we go into our design procurement, and so that can that does follow, our City of Fresno procurement guidelines. It can include processes from the development, advertisement of requests for qualifications, a review committee to review statements of qualifications that we've received, and perhaps council approval, depending on the cost of the project. And so from the design procurement, after we've identified a designer, after we've approved their relationship with the city through council or some other formal contractual process, we jump into design. And so from design, this is an iterative process. We start with a very basic site analysis, confirming any project constraints that we've identified in the scoping process. And then go through several design development stages. We'll start with a schematic design, we'll go into a 60% design development, a 90%, and then through our 100% construction plans. Now, through that, we have some parallel processes. So that's our permitting and our environmental analyses. And so those two processes are happening at the same time that the design is happening. And also happening at the same time is our community engagement. Now, it's a little bit of a misnomer because our community engagement actually is all the way at the initiation phase. Our ideas are derived from the community. But in our design development phase, we really dig in with the community and ask those detailed questions specific to those projects. And so after we are completed with the design, we're through our permitting and our plan checking phase. Got our next slide. All right, we go into construction procurement. And so from construction procurement, there are a couple of avenues that we have to procure construction. We can do a traditional bid where we advertise the plans, the specifications, and go through Business Journal or Planet Bids, something of that sort. We also have available to us a process that's managed through our General Services Department, which is job order contracting. They go through a specific contracting process to make a specific pool of contractors available to the city. And those are regulated by specific contractual obligations. Once we've procured our contractor, we understand who's going to build our thing, our widget. We go into pre-construction. We finalize all of our paperwork, all the construction documents. We finalize our materials. We order our materials. And then hopefully they come within 4 to 12 weeks, all of our materials, and then we can initiate our construction. And again, construction can be anywhere from a few weeks all the way 12 to 18 months. And so from there, in construction, we will do a finalized site walk and punch list once the substantial amount of work is complete. And then we'll generally close out the process through paperwork and that sort of thing. So after the actual widget is built or the structure is built, there's still some paperwork and closeout items that need to happen after that. So now that you know how a project happens, now that you're refreshed on that, I'm going to invite my counterpart, Joseph Portali, to provide us just a brief overview of the projects and their current statuses.
I will try to be brief. There's a lot of projects. My name is Joseph Portali, as she introduced me as well. I am one of the capital projects administrators, capital department projects administrators at Parks. the arrow? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. So the first part I'm going to talk about are the projects that we have in planning. And so, as you can see, at Dakota Barton, we have a new development being planned. Oops, I went back too far. Sorry. At Dakota Barton, we have a new development underway, and it's funded through design. And this is just south of Granite Park. This new development will take shape through community engagement. As someone mentioned, that we'll start that process of community engagement to get the community's input starting this spring and summer of '24. At Hinton, we have a landscape improvement project, and this is funded through construction. And this is to introduce drought-tolerant landscape improvements at the northern boundary of the park along the Hinton Trail. At Jaswant Singh Cholera Park and the Regional Sports Complex, we have a field cricket conversion project, and it is funded through construction, and this will be adding a cricket pitch to the Jaswant Singh Cholera softball field and at the Regional Sports Complex between two soccer fields. At Logan, we have a multi-stripe project of the courts, and that is funded through construction. And at Logan, we have 2 tennis courts that will be resurfaced and restriped for multiple sports. The FMFCD basins are at multiple locations, and they are funded through design. And so there's 7 new dual-use FMFCD City of Fresno open spaces that are being planned. And these new developments will take shape through a community engagement process through the summer and fall of 2024.
When you say dual use, what do you mean?
Dual use between, so it'll still be an FMFCD basin for part of the year, and it'll be a park for another part of the year, but we'll share that space between the 2 of us.
Okay, thank you.
Pinedale, the Community Center Improvement Project, and that is funded through construction. And we're currently working with the rec center staff and the council district to identify the greatest need at the community center, the greatest needs. At Quigley, we have a rehabilitation project that's funded through design, and this project will continue the master planning efforts conducted by the District 1 in 2019 to finalize construction documents for the rehabilitation of the Quigley Park. The master plan design includes splash pad, updated community center, updated playground, and multi-use fields and multi-use courts. Roading, the restroom upgrade project, is funded through construction, and that project will replace all 4 restrooms within Roding Park with new prefabricated buildings. And then Roding also has an irrigation upgrade project, which is funded through design, and that's building on a project that was started prior to the pandemic, and this project will prepare designs, so it'll be through design, prepare designs to modernize and harden the irrigation infrastructure at Roding Park, and construction of which will be funded in subsequent years, but it'll be funded through design. Oh, sorry, wrong place. So now moving on to the projects that we have in estimating. The first project is Dickey Playground, and that's a rehabilitation project, and it's funded through design, and that is building on a project started prior to the project will prepare designs for park rehabilitation based on the community feedback hearing during the Measure P planning process that included Dickey, Romaine, Holmes, and Frank H. Ball, 4 of the highest needs parks in the city. And it consists of restroom replacement, field upgrades, circumnavigable paths, and a new plaza and gathering spaces there. Lafayette Court resurfacing and is funded through construction. The current tennis courts are aged and in poor repair, and this project will repair the surface and stripe the courts to support additional sports. At Logan, we have bleacher upgrades, and that is funded through construction. The updates to the bleachers at Logan Park is to replace existing aged bleachers with new updated bleachers. At Maxie L. Parks, the project is the South Parcel Improvement, and that is funded through design. And this process is to incorporate the parcel south of Maxie L. Parks, and it will be implemented in tandem with the West Fresno Community Center Rehabilitation Project, which I'll discuss about 3 or 4 slides ahead. And at Mosqueda, the pool fence project is funded through construction, and that is to construct a fence around the pool where the chain link fence that is currently there is not adequately secure, does not adequately secure the facility. So the fence has been damaged, broken through and multiple times, and so we're working to improve that fence and provide a perimeter fence at the front of the parking, or to match the perimeter fence at the front of the park, so it'll be aesthetically similar to that. At Romaine, the learner pool improvements are funded through construction, and this project will construct improvements to the Romaine learner pool, which were previously designed prior to Measure P. So we did have those designs, and now we're going to move forward with that. Storyland site improvement is funded through construction, and we're currently working through the pricing to complete and install a wrought iron fence around Storyland. There's a portion of Storyland already has fencing like that, and we're completing the fence, replacing where there's chain link that has also been cut through and vandalized. And this will help address security needs. And then also, we're working with Storyland to address accessibility opportunities at the park or at the location. So I'm going to move to design. And I'm not sure if you guys want to ask questions during or after, but if you have questions, just let me know. So in design, the Alradka Park, the new small dog park, which Summer mentioned, is funded through design, and this design and construction of an additional to the existing dog park. So we have a dog park already at Alradka, but it's smaller, and so we're adding a second dog park to allow for a small and a large dog park. And this will include accessibility improvements, new amenities for the dog play, and then shaded seating. Broadway Elizabeth is a new park, and it's funded through construction. And this project will construct a new park at the corner of Broadway and Elizabeth to include a play structure, cantilevered shade structures, gathering area, and various other furnishings and landscape improvements. Fink White, the restroom rehabilitation, is funded through construction. And this is a rehabilitation of the men's and women's restroom, including new fixtures. It will address plumbing issues. It'll make ADA improvements per the current code. And we'll be replacing stalls and repairing paint, walls, ceiling, just kind of doing an overall rehab. At Homes, we have a restroom replacement project, and this is funded through construction. This project will replace the existing restroom at Holmes Park to provide secure, updated, well-lit restroom. At Manchester, we have a splash pad project, and it is funded through design, and this was presented by a FY23 budget motion for Manchester Park improvements, and will replace the existing wader pool at the park with a new splash pad. Maxi L Parks, the HVA installation project is funded through design, and the current system supplying air to most of the facility is a swamp cooler system, and the new system is designed to replace the swamp cooler with an HVA system. The department has submitted a grant application for construction and expects to learn the outcome soon. Milburn Overlook is a rehabilitation project, and it is funded through construction. And this project will remove the existing parking lot and create a safe, secure overlook to the San Joaquin River Parkway. And the project will include landscaping, walkability, a sense of safety, and ADA designated parking stall and path of travel improvements. And it will include shaded seating areas, educational boards, and binoculars to look down at the river. The Paul Capriaglio Center, or the CAP Center, this is the south building rehabilitation, and this is funded through construction. So we've finished the north building, and now we're moving to the south building. And this will design and renovate south building of the Bulldog and Six, aka the CAP Center, which will include additional amenities such as kitchen, offices, and congregate meal hall. The Rotary East picnic area is the project, and it's funded through design. and that's to design and construct a small picnic area near the existing play structure. And the Senior Activity Center, the new community center, citywide community center, is funded through construction, or into construction, and this is the design and construction of the first dedicated citywide senior center, and it's going to be approximately 30,000 square feet. Okay. And so we have additional designs. Okay. So at Roding and Rotary East, we have pickleball courts that are funded through construction. And at Roding, we're converting 3 existing courts to pickleball and multi-striping. And then at Rotary East, so I don't know if I said that right, that was at Roding. At Rotary East, we're designing and constructing new pickleball courts. At Vinland, we have a pickleball and futsal court project, and that is funded through construction. And that is to design and construct a new dedicated pickleball and 1 dedicated futsal court at Vinland Park. Woodward Park, we have the pickleball courts, and those are funded through design, and that's to design and construct new dedicated pickleball courts at Woodward Park. At San Pablo Park, the rehabilitation project is funded through design, and that is to complete the design of for rehabilitation of the San Pablo Park to include multiple new amenities such as performance area, basketball courts, exercise area, and escape plaza. At Ted C. Wills, we have a green space improvements project, and that is funded through design, and that is to redesign the Ted C. Wills green space at the east of the community center, and the scope includes finalization of the construction plans to include a large open green space, fully accessible dog park, and a circumnavigable path and shaded seating. So this next one, we have Bigby Villa, Cal Tutman, Cary, Lafayette, Logan Park, Maxie L Parks, Nielsen, Orchid, Romaine, Rotary East, and Sunnyside. And so these are all part of a play area improvements project, which is funded through design, and there's an asterisk there because some of the high needs parks are funded through construction on this project. And this is a design of an ADA and other safety improvements at 11 parks, including ADA path of travel, pour-in-place safety surface, and shade for the playgrounds, for the play structures. And then I mentioned earlier when I was referencing the West Fresno Community Rehabilitation Project. So this is at Frank H. Ball, Mary Ella Brown, Maxie L. Parks, and at Sunset. It's the West Fresno Community Center Rehabilitation, and it's the outreach and design portion of the project, and it's funded through design. And this is master planning of 4 high-needs community centers within West Fresno, including a robust community outreach process. It began in the winter, or will begin in the winter and spring of 2024, and anticipated this project will result in phased site improvement plans to be constructed over subsequent years at those parks. Okay, so we kind of also would like to highlight some of the parks. So this first one, Milburn Overlook Rehabilitation, is one that I've discussed, but this is a site plan looking at kind of what we can expect. We have a lot of new pathways, new plannings, and it's going to be a great new addition to that area. And this is the new park development at Broadway and Elizabeth, and so this gives you also a site plan view. You can see there's the play structure to the bottom right portion and the shaded area kind of right in the middle next to the shades, the play structures. But this gives you an idea of what that park will look like, and it's going to be a great addition to the community. And then at Vinland, we talked about the futsal and pickleball. So this is a view of what the designer has proposed for our futsal and pickleball courts that are being that will be added at Vinland. Okay. So we'll move to construction. Oops. Or pre-construction, sorry. So we have at Belcher Park, we have a pedestrian access project, and that is funded through construction, and that is to provide ADA access at the east entrance to Belcher Park. At California Tutman, we have a perimeter wall project that is funded through construction, and that is an installation of a CMU block wall on the interior perimeter of the park to replace the existing wood fence that's in poor repair, and it'll improve privacy to the park attendees as well as the adjacent residents. At Cary Park, we have a petanque shade and bleacher improvements project, and that is funded through construction. And that was part of an FY23 budget motion to replace outdated bleachers, replace ingress and egress paths to the bleachers to comply with the ADA, and add seating and shade to the petanque area with design in FY23 and construction then would be in FY24. At Dickey Youth Center, we have a security improvements project, and that is funded through construction. And that is to enclose the Dickey Youth Center parking lot, install wirelessly operated vehicle gate and pedestrian gate as well. At Holmes, we have a roof repair project that's underway, and that is funded through construction. And that's to repair a section of roof that sustained water damage, and the contract has been awarded, and we're anticipating construction to start soon on that one. At Lafayette, we have a restroom rehabilitation project, and that is funded through construction. And that is to provide to rehabilitate the men's and women's restroom, including new fixtures, address any plumbing issues, make ADA improvements, replace stalls, repair and paint walls, ceilings, floors, basically do a full rehabilitation. And then the next one at Orchid and Roding, so we have two court surfacing projects underway right now. At Orchid, we're resurfacing two tennis courts, and that'll include striping for tennis and pickleball. At Roding, we're resurfacing 11 tennis courts, and that'll be resurfaced to tennis, or continuing to be tennis. And at Roding and Woodward, we have a play structure improvements project, and that is funded through construction. And the rotary play structure will be replacing, the Roding play structure will be replaced completely with this project, and the Woodward Park play structures will be rehabilitated. So at Roding, it'll be a complete replacement. And then all play structures will receive accessibility improvements to the path of travel and to parking. At Veterans Memorial, we have a facility improvements project, and that is funded through construction. And we're working to improve the dressing rooms, the bathrooms, the theater lobby, the area around the theater seating. We're completing final approval on a consultant agreement for an assessment to include structural, plumbing, HVAC, fire, hazardous materials, and then accessibility as well at the facility. And then at Willow Balch, there's a play structure improvement or replacement project, and that is funded through construction. And that's this play structure was damaged in a fire last year, and a new play structure has been designed to not only replace but enhance what was there. And this will also include soft fall safety surfaces, and integrated shade, and other site improvements to the path of travel. Okay. So for construction, the projects that we have under construction, at Al Radka, we have an irrigation upgrade project, and that is funded through construction. The current irrigation system has had multiple issues with its performance and is not able to keep up with the demands of the park. We're replacing the irrigation controller and pumps to ensure that the park is watered properly. At Fink White, there's a splash pad project that is currently under construction. And this is a construction of a new splash pad to replace the existing wader pool at Fink White. And the construction is underway. And then at Einstein, Holmes, Jeswant Kalra, Kaiser, Collegian, Mosqueda, Remain, Selma Lane, Ted C. Wills, and Veterans Memorial, we are working through a parking lot slurry and seal project, and that is in construction. And at those parks, we're completing a slurry seal and restriping project in the parking lots to improve those parking areas. At Lafayette, Robinson, Sunnyside, Cal Tupman, and Logan, we have accessibility picnic areas project underway, and it's funded through construction.
Excuse me.
Yes.
We lost our quorum, so we have to
Oh.
pause.
I'm sorry.
We have 5. Oh, no, Commissioner Z. Don't we still have a quorum? Oh, I apologize. You can continue.
Okay. Okay, I was on at Lafayette. So the accessible picnic project is funded through construction, and this project primarily funded with Proposition 68 funds, but is also partially funded through Measure P. At Pillabos, we have a turf rehabilitation and irrigation upgrade project, and it's under construction. And that is to replace the pump and irrigation control system, repairing the sprinklers, heads, and putting new fields, applying new seeds and new grass there. And at Van Ness and Weldon, we have a new park, and it's currently under construction, which will include play structure, bocce ball court, central plaza, exercise stations, and many trees. And so I'm trying to feel like I've been going forever. So these are some of the new park developments. Just this is at Van Ness and Weldon. Gives you a view of what to expect. And then at Fink White, the splash pad, give you an idea of all the different sprayers that will be there. Okay, and so for completed projects, we have at Granny's Park, we did security lighting and pathway lighting, and so there was new LED lighting that was above the play structure and above the basketball court and kind of in between to provide additional lighting and usability after dark. At Jaswant Cholera, we had a play structure improvement project we replaced the play structure there, and it included all new softball safety surface as well. And that ribbon cutting was just last month. At Mosqueda, we installed accessible door upgrades or provided accessible door upgrades, and that was new doors with accessible openers as well. At the CAP Center or the Capriglio Center, that I mentioned earlier, the south building, the north building was just completed as well recently since our last meeting. At Quigley, the HVAC improvement project was to improve, we added an additional HVAC system there or unit to improve the cooling and heating at that facility. And then Aaron mentioned the Roding Dog Park relocation, that was the ribbon cutting was just this morning. The Science Mobile, we did improvements to the Science Mobile, and it repaired safety equipment and other equipment to enable the continued use of the mobile science unit. At Sunset, we had the community center roof repairs. The roof was leaking and required repairs. At Vinland, we just finished or recently finished court resurfacing, and the court was resurfaced to accommodate tennis, volleyball, and pickleball. And then at Vinland as well, we had restroom upgrades that we kind of addressed plumbing issues, ADA improvements. We replaced stall partitions, repaired and painted walls, ceilings, floors. And then as part of, or to improve energy efficiency, we had HVAC improvement projects at Mosqueda, Ted C. Wills, and the Regional Sports Complex as well. And some of our, it takes a while. At Roding Dog Park, you can see some picture of the new relocated dog park with a lot more shade and trees. And this is at Vinland Park. It has on the left the restroom rehabilitation, on the right the court resurfacing. The Jaswant Singh Kalra playground. This was the updated playground. Okay. And that concludes our presentation of the capital projects update. And just, we want to take a moment to share your meeting schedule the remainder of the year. Over the coming sessions, we'll be bringing you information like this to provide overviews of the projects, programs, and initiatives underway in FY24. After each presentation, we'd like to invite you to make motions for the FY25 budget. And the Parks Department will return to the Commission in February or March of next year after the mayor has presented his budget to the City Council, at which time the Commission will have additional opportunities to make recommendations to Council relating to the FY25 budget. So, any questions for Summer or I?
Just a point of clarification, we'll come back May of 2024, not April
sorry.
or March.
Thank you for that presentation. I have a couple of questions. But before that, I would go out to the public to see if they would like to provide comment regarding this item. You'll have up to 2 minutes. All right, I will close public comment for now. Does any member of the commission have questions or comments regarding this item? I know I do, but I can go last. I allow you guys the floor. No? Okay. So a couple of questions. When you say regional sports complex, are you talking about the one on Jensen?
Yes.
Yes. They have an HVAC system? They have a community center there? I don't recall. I was just there a couple of weekends ago.
There's an office in kind of behind that walled area.
Okay.
It's just north of where the softball fields are.
Okay. And then my other question is, I noticed that the Veterans Memorial is listed here. Is that list considered a park?
It is within our inventory.
Correct. It's one of our assets in our inventory.
Okay. I just never seen it on here before. I don't recall ever seeing Veterans Memorial on anything that we had before. So that was part of my question. I believe those are all my questions. I'm looking at my notes, so I just needed some clarification on those. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have one question, sorry.
Sure.
What's the mobile science unit? Could you tell me what they do and where
Sure.
they're at?
Sure. It's based out of Highway City is where they are located, but it's a mobile truck, like a camper type vehicle, right? Like a bus. Sorry, thank you. And they can take science activities out to locations for the public, so they actually can take it on site as opposed to having people have to come to the location at Highway City or wherever. And so they can bring that programming out to schools, communities, et cetera.
Have they expanded the route on the science mobile bus? I know it was primarily at Highway City Park, and then it was at a couple other parks. Have they transitioned it out to make sure that it covers more parks in the routes?
I can speak to that. We have, so the mobile science unit, for a while it was down getting rewrapped, had old information. So that's back up and running, and that the goal is to hit all of our community centers that maybe have issues of getting out to Highway City, but making the rounds, so heading out to Dickey Youth Center, heading out to Mariella Brown, heading out to Maxie. So we can share with you that schedule, what that looks like, and the frequency. And Sunset, correct?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the goal behind that is to obviously get science out to the centers. In addition to that, building upon that, each center will kind of have its own science program too. So
Have we been out to Musqueda yet?
I believe we have, yes.
Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
I've got a question.
You have the floor.
Yeah. These are capital projects. A lot of the projects seem like maintenance. Is this like the only budget for like, fence repairs and resurfacing and things? Like some of this stuff seems like it should just be ongoing park maintenance. And I'm just curious if there's a different pathway for that, or if they all just have to be new capital improvement projects.
So some of the items you're seeing here are new capital. Joseph mentioned wrought iron fencing, swapping out the chain link fencing. We do have our planned maintenance group, or a group that goes out and makes repairs. That does come out of our operating. That's separate from what you see here. So these are actually enhancements to the fencing systems. As Mosqueda, we mentioned, that fence gets cut. So this is a whole new fence around that pole. And then some of the other security measures kind of above and beyond what our repair folks can do, so then they do become capital at that point.
Thanks for clarifying. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would like to apologize to the public. I forgot to go out to the public for unscheduled communication. So would any member of the public like to speak on any issue within the jurisdiction of this commission? You will have up to 2 minutes. If you would like to make a comment regarding any of the scheduled hearings, comments will be taken when each item is called. All right, going once. Do we have anyone online?
Yes, we do. Sorry, no, we don't.
Okay, thank you. We will move on to the next hearing, ID number 23-1440. Hearing actions pertaining to the expanded access to arts and cultural grant guidelines. 1, receive public input on the draft expanded access to arts and cultural grant guidelines. 2, review and make recommendations from the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission for the City Council's consideration and adoption of the expanded access to arts and cultural grant guidelines. Would someone from the Fresno Arts Council please begin the presentation? Welcome, Ms. Chavez.
Good evening, members of the commission. I'm Lilia Gonzalez Chavez, Executive Director of the Fresno Arts Council. And first, I want to say how much I appreciate that we had a little more time to review the guidelines and to make some changes, both as a result of your recommendations, but also as a result of the input that community members had. And it was really valuable to hear from folks that did not attend the meeting and had issues and questions, and that additional time provided for that. So thank you. I believe that over the next year, we will learn a lot. And while this is a revised plan, it in no means is perfect. And we will come back to you next year with more revisions, because we will have learned more about the universe of the grant seekers that we're working with. And that information will inform our process. One of the concerns that the commission had was on the percentage of the budget that would go for each project. And so the funds were divided approximately 50-50 until we actually get applications. We won't know exactly what that division will be, but it does respond to your question about what percentage of funds would go for each grants program. We also identified an opportunity for newcomers. That was your concern. And we set aside 10% of the dedicated 50% of each category for emerging organizations. And we created 3 categories for funding. We also raised the cap, which was a concern that came up last time, for operating grants to $300,000. We changed key questions in the project-specific grants so that they would speak specifically to projects. And we separated them out into 2 documents so you could see them separately and avoid confusion. We increased the word count for all questions to 750, which was also a concern brought forward by the commission. Questions identified for emerging organizations will serve to inform capacity building. That was also a concern brought up by the Commission. The questions, while seem to be a little overwhelming for an emerging organization, how they answer those questions will tell us what kind of technical assistance and support they will need. We separated the two grant types. We did consider, as a committee, the pros and cons of having just one application so that people would have to choose between either operating support or special project support. That was a concern brought up by the Commission, but it was also a concern brought up by small arts organizations. For small arts organizations, having the opportunity to apply in more than one category is important. Larger budget organizations have resources. They have access to other funders for project-specific funds. Small budget organizations don't yet have those contacts, so it's important that they're able to apply in more than one category, and that is consistent with the practice of the National Endowment for the Arts and the California Arts Council. So we left the opportunity for groups to apply for both areas. And we also listened carefully to concerns from community members related to individual artists. Because of the way the ordinance is written, individual artists can't apply without a fiscal sponsor. But we did include that with a fiscal sponsor, individual artists could apply under the special projects category. And that was really important to a lot of small organizations as well as individual artists. So as we move forward, we'll also be looking at other opportunities for individual artists, whether it's residencies within larger arts organizations or even fellowships. All those things still have to be worked out, and as we see how this initial process works, we hope to address those things as well. Those are the major changes in the document, and at this point, I'll take questions.
Does any member of the commission have any questions regarding this item? I think you answered them all.
Thank you.
I would like to go out to the public. Would any member of the public like to provide a comment regarding this item? You will have up to 2 minutes. I have a couple of cards here. Can I have Camilla Sutherland come up to the podium? And you'll have 2 minutes.
First of all, thank you very much. This is my first city council meeting to go to for the commission. And I want to say thank you. I play tennis out at Roding Tennis Courts. I'm the president of the Roding Park Tennis Club. And I want to thank you to Aaron, who's also opened his doors to us to come in and talk about what's going on at Roding. It's been around since 1931. The courts have been played on. I played on them as a kid. But my big concern tonight is that they're going to be resurfaced. And thank you to the Measure P project. Those courts are used by a majority of the tennis players around the area. My question to the, which I know I don't get an answer tonight, is the resurfacing is supposed to be taking place. We have put in tennis nets and backdrops at the courts. We just wanted to find out what the actual date that the courts are going to be resurfaced on so we can get those nets down. It takes about 2 to 3 days to have our volunteers take those down so they can do the resurfacing. And I know I only have 2 minutes, so I'm going to get to the point. But we have had a great joint venture with the Parks Service, with Aaron's department, and the maintenance folks at Roding Park. They have really helped support keeping those courts used by many people. Courts 1 through 11 And we just want to say thank you for all that they're doing, and whatever information we can do to help make the transition go smoothly, that's what we're here for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Thomas Ellis. Thank you, Mr.
Good afternoon,
Ellis.
everyone.
You have 2 minutes.
You know, the minutes say I'm not going to take 2 minutes or 3 minutes, but the minutes say 3 minutes.
Yeah, but we had a house full, so I wanted to make sure everyone had the chance to speak, so that's why I limited it to 2
Excellent.
minutes.
I'm not going to take 2 minutes.
Okay.
I'm here, my name is Thomas Witt Ellis. I'm a professor of theater arts at Fresno State. I typically don't get too involved in these things, but I did want to come out in support of the tentative plan to set aside and recognize funding for small and emerging organizations, particularly those of color. I'm here in Fresno because many years ago, Fresno State decided to hire someone to teach and perform and present African American theater. Prior to that, from 1914 to 1973, that department produced over 300 plays. None of them were black, none of them were Latino, and none of them were Asian, period. Since then, from 1973 until 1991, only one black play was produced, 0 Latino plays, and 0 Asian plays. Without the university reaching out to its students, and without the students making a lot of noise, I wouldn't be here. And since I'm here, I think I've made some sort of impact in the arts community locally. I just want to applaud your consideration in making sure that diverse and emerging organizations are funded. This is, as you know, taxpayer money. People of color buy stuff, they buy used cars, they buy appliances, they buy clothing because they need that. It's not disposable income, it's taxable income, and they deserve a piece of this pie. I hope I'm making sense. I'd just like to urge all of you to continue to consider these small and emerging organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Do we have anyone online?
There are no speakers online.
Before I close public comment, would anyone else like to speak on this item? All right, I will now close public comment. Last item on the agenda is ID 23-1441, hearing, receive public input on allocations related to Measure P, updates to the Parks Master Plan. Approve? Oh, I think I need to bring my glasses next time. All right, is there a motion to recommend the proposed expanded access to arts and cultural grant guidelines to the City Council for their consideration and adoption?
I make a motion to move the guidelines recommend the guidelines be moved to the City Council for their adoption.
Thank you, Commissioner Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Dolan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Item passes. Now we will move on to the last item on the agenda for tonight. Receive public input on allocations related to Measure P, updates to the Parks Master Plan and Cultural Arts Plan, and annual Parks Department budget and capital improvement plans. Would any member of the public like to provide a comment regarding this item? You will have up to 2 minutes for comment. Do we have anyone online?
There are no speakers online.
I will now close public comment. Does any member of the commission have questions or comments regarding this item? No? All right. Well, it is 6:44. I would like to adjourn the meeting in one of our commissioners' memory. Dr. Francina Puda, you are greatly missed. You guys have a great evening, and thank you.